Hi, everybody. I am Claudia Mills, and I am the author of a series of books called After School Superstars. It's called After School Superstars because it's set in an after-school program. All the books take place in an after-school program because millions of kids in America go to after-school programs because their parents work or because they want to have just some enriching and exciting things to do in the afternoon. Now, because I'm the creator of these books, I could create any after-school program that I wanted. And so I tried to create what I thought would be the coolest and most fun after-school program ever. So in my imaginary program that I create for my books, every month is a different camp where the kids learn a different subject, different kind of activity that's not the kind of thing you're going to learn during the ordinary school day. And then each book in the series takes place in each one of those different camps. So the first book in the series is Nixie Ness Cooking Star, where Nixie goes off to after school cooking camp. Now I have to confess that I am not a very good cook. I really don't cook very much, so I had to do a lot of research for the book to try out different recipes that I thought would be things that kids could make safely and easily, and that also would produce food that was nutritious and delicious. So that was my goal in the book. Now the problem of the book for Nixie's problem in the story is that Nixie's best friend Grace is not going to cooking camp. Only Nixie is going. Grace is going instead to the home of another friend. And Nixie is convinced that the other friend, Elise, is a best friend stealer. And so she's going to have to find a way to bake and cook enough things in cooking camp that she can win her way back into Grace's heart. So that's Nixie Ness Cooking Star. The second book in the series takes place in comic book camp. It's Vera Vance Comic Star. So this is going to be a camp where the whole month long the kids are learning everything about comics and are designing and making comics of their own. Now Vera's problem in the story is that Vera loves comics, but her mother doesn't. Her mother kind of thinks they're just not a worthwhile activity. Her mother likes things to be very educational. And at the end of the camp is going to be a huge camp trip off to a convention called Comic Con. So it's a convention for everything to do with comics where people are going to come in costume, and there'll be all kinds of activities and a chance to win a prize for your comic. And Vera is so afraid that her mother's not going to let her go, but she thinks maybe she can make a comic that will convince her mother. And so that's Vera Vance Comic Star. The third book in the series is coming out this fall. It's called Lucy Lopez Coding Star, and it takes place in coding camp. And that was a challenge for me to write because I am not very good at technology. I'm not very good at computers, and I had never done computer coding. But I knew that kids are really good at technology. I bet a lot of you are whizzes on the computer. So I actually hired a kid to help me learn about coding. I hired an 11-year-old kid who sat by me and taught me how to code a dance party and how to animate the letters of my name. And I learned the activities that Lucy would do in the book. And the final book in the series is Boogie Bass Sign Language Star, which will be out next year. Now in each book, there's a lot of activities that the kids do that you could do too at home. So in Nixie's book, Nixie Ness Cooking Star, at the end of the book, there's a recipe for morning glory muffins. And I have to say they are absolutely delicious, but they are kind of a lot of work to make. They're time consuming, but worth it. She also makes dog biscuits and cat cookies. And I'm here to report that my dog Tanky tasted them and he thought they were very yummy. But I thought you might want to make a simpler activity. Now remember, any activity you do in the kitchen, you want to check with your grown-ups first. But I thought you might want to try making a simple snack that is fun to look at, fun to make, and fun to eat, called ants on a log. To make ants on a log, you just cut up a piece of celery into lengths about this long, and make sure if you're using a knife that you get your grown-ups help or permission. So you start with your piece of celery, then you fill it with peanut butter. And if you want a smooth log, you can use creamy peanut butter. If you want a chunky log, a bumpy log, then of course you can use chunky peanut butter. And the ants are raisins. So here is my ants on a log that I just made, and I'm going to go nibble on after I finish talking to you. Just a piece of celery cut to this length, filled with peanut butter, and the ants on top. If you want smaller ants, just cut your raisins in half. I like big juicy ants though, so I left my raisins as they are. So this is the After School Superstars, and I'm Claudia Mills, and I hope these books might have some fun activities that you might want to engage in. Thank you.